Hello and welcome back to another Cambrian news and updates. How's it going, Joel? You okay?
Yeah, good. David Metcalf, goodness me, how impatient.
I know he's right there, isn't he? He's right there.
You could imagine him singing that, couldn't you? Why are we waiting? So this is weird, isn't it? I'm like high res.
Yeah, you've upped your streaming game. Now you've got the problem with where to actually look, because obviously our screens are here and then the camera's just off screen.
I'll try and look into the camera as much as I can.
Yeah, it's like you're a different person, Joel.
I know. I've got like a haircut and everything. David, like a coiled spring. Nice.
Oh, dear me. Yes. I mean, if we were in a parallel universe, Joel, we would have been having our optic fair up at Cambrian.
We would have. Yeah, our second one, but alas, COVID has put pay to that.
It certainly has. So are we going to do what we did for the show? So all next week we're going to be giving
well, you've got half an hour to figure it out.
Yeah.
Almost as long as we had last time. Okay.
Yeah. But fray not, because there is some good news. Obviously, we do the optic fair up at Cambrian, and Cambrian the Cambrian Visitor Centre is up and running and open for visitors as well. So obviously, it's a wonderful place to go up there and enjoy the beautiful lake there. And also, as we've seen from our good friend Gary Jones, the ospreys are out, and he's been taking some absolutely fantastic pictures.
Incredible
obviously, if you haven't seen any of Gary Jones's osprey pictures, just search for him on Facebook. You'll be able to find him, Gary Jones Photography, and you'll see some wonderful osprey pictures. But they're out.
D6 is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. They. It's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's
great to see the ospreys doing well as well, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah, no, it's nice to see. So, and obviously, the more we always have to be sensible in these sort of times. But the more we go out to these places, the more it actually supports and gets sort of everything sort of up and going again, doesn't it?
Trish said it was heaving yesterday. I bet it was.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Freedom, and everybody's out. So. Hello, Mel. Hello, Lee. Good to see you both. Well, good to see your comments. Can't actually see you. That'd be a bit odd. But it's all good.
Well, we see pictures. Does that count?
That's true. Little pictures, like this big. So, talking about birds, binoculars. Not normally most exciting topic because they don't get released very often. But we mentioned the Swarovski NL Pures last week or the week before. And our rep came in this week, and oh my goodness, they are so bright, edge to edge sharpness, flatness, everything you could possibly want in a binocular is in those Swarovskis. They're just sublime. And
you
then
know what staggers me, Joel?
Yeah.
Is that, as we looked at, because obviously we got the specs through on email, didn't we, before we actually saw them, and they were very, very similar to the sort of the older version. So when you looked at sort of the light transmission and things like that, they were sort of on spec, very, very similar, but they were so different actually looking through them, weren't they?
They felt different as well, because they've modified the body, which is, it's nice to hold. And they've got that forehead rest, which looks a bit odd at first, but you can see why they put it on there, because it makes it a lot easier to hold it for a longer period of time, especially at higher magnifications, like the 12s that they produce.
Yeah, the 10s or the 12s, I found that it really helped when actually having that headrest as well. So, but yeah, absolutely stunning, and so flat as well. The actual image that you get off them. So,
hello, Jace. Hope you're well. And Trish. So for those of us that can't the camera, Gary has been testing out. What are the other options? Well, Olympus do the EM1X, and that's incredible. And the EM1 Mark III, both of those are stunningly good cameras. Arguably, the EM5 Mark III would do a great job as well. most of the Sony kind of full frame range would do a great job. EOS R and the R5 and R6 would be great. Nikon Z6, Z7, D850, Fuji X-T3, X-T4, definitely, XH1. Just basically listed all of the top of the range of the camera manufacturers.
I just like lenses. That you listed pretty much every camera then.
Yeah. Some bridge cameras, the RX10 Mark IV. It's a lot of money, but it's an exceptionally good bridge camera. Arguably better than a lot of DSLRs and like mirrorless cameras. Even something like the RX100 Mark VII would be very good.
Yeah.
So not quite the reach maybe, but
I think what we're seeing from a lot of these modern cameras is that they do actually, you know, whichever sort of range that you're getting into, is that they do very well at autofocus nowadays, and will keep up with things like the Ospreys flying and stuff like that. And
the glass
the rest
makes
of it,
a big difference as well.
Yes, no, it certainly does. Yeah, and that's where it has been really. You know, if you want in those crystal sharp images, then you know, if you've got good glass in front of your body, then that is going to make a world of difference to your pictures.
Definitely. I'm not sure if that helped, Trish. I hope it did. And Mel, yes, the printers are up and running. We've got the wet lab system going, and it's purring like a kitten because Paul has made it work.
Yeah.
The fine art printer is working really, really well. We're getting some really nice images out of that. Made a lady cry the other day because we printed off some artwork that Paul had scanned in, and I printed on this inkjet printer, and she thought I'd handed her the originals when I hadn't. I'd actually handed her the scan and prints. So she was blown away. So very, very happy lady. So that was really good. And also we're just making sure we can find the best place to get hold of it. But we have the Canon Pro 4100 in our sites. We found a couple of locations we might be able to put it in, either in the lab or in the studio. But my life, the prints that are going to come out of that, 4 foot wide, it would be able to repaper the whole shop in print. It'll be amazing. I'm very excited.
I'm going to print a bed.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said print a bed.
That's how tired you are.
Dear. I'll print some pillows and then print like a duvet cover.
We're going to print the Sistine Chapel for the ceiling. But instead of just like the finger, it'll be a camera being handed from one to the other. So things like that.
To cover the blue.
Yeah. Yeah, Mel, just send them over and we can get those printed out for you. You'll be blown away by how nice they look. Hi, Graham. Hi, Dillis. Now, Lee, interesting, the XH2. I wonder what that looks like if it is going to exist, given the fact that they've basically taken an XT3, an XH1, and gone like this and made an XT4, because it's got the image stabilization in the XT4, which the XH1 was really the only difference. So it'll be interesting to see what and if the XH2 happens. I'm quite intrigued by that. So David, stop looking and buy it. You'll be amazed by it. It's so good. The autofocus, the AI is insane. The deep learning that it can do. I remember them showing us how it would track helmets on Formula One cars, and it would track the helmet, and then as it went out of shot, it'd find the next one and keep circling around like that. It was phenomenal. Oh, Trish, that's a question. That is a question. The XT4 is very, very good, especially now it's got the IBIS. I think you'd have to come in and let us show you whether it's enough of a difference, because it's not simple just to go for the best one. Sony is very good. The XT4 is very good, but it's how it feels in your hand. And I know that you love your Fuji very much because it's great stuff, especially the colors. And we've seen some great images of wildlife with it. And as Graham says, the XT4 is ace, which I can well agree with. So yeah, what's Sarah saying? Print wall coverings. Ooh, we're going to be printing stuff for a van at this rate. She'll be thinking, oh, what can I do now? So David, the EM1X is hopefully coming in the next few weeks, depending on Olympus's stock holding. But I believe your name is on the first one that enters through our doors. So
there you go. Looking forward to you having to play with that, David. So
yes,
we've got some more camera news. Once again, I'm a little bit sort of out of date. Having my what did I say last week? My hand was in something, wasn't it? So, but
in the developer, in the
developer, yeah.
machine.
We do need to make sure that we say that, yeah. But yes, there's been some interesting announcements from Nikon this week as well. So, which hopefully Joel's going to mention because
I just trying to find my notes
too much about them.
Well, it's basically the Z5, so it sits below the Z6 and Z7, which is two very, very good cameras. The viewfinder in the Z7 is got to be one of the best on the market at the moment, I would argue. It's very good. The autofocus is very good on that as well. But the Z5 gets you into the Nikon full frame mirrorless, like the bottom. So not that it's not a good camera, it's just obviously priced and made. Oh, there's a person just floating through the shot. And then it's going to be small. I think we've not obviously been able to see it yet because it's only just been announced. But it's going to go along well with the smaller Z lenses. So they just brought out the 2450. So that's going to be very good. I think it's 24.3 megapixels. I can't find my notes on it to find out anymore. But it's going to have pretty good autofocus. It's not nearly as many points. I think it's 230 autofocus points. So it won't quite keep up with Z6 and Z7. But
it's a good way.
You pay your money and you get your focus. Yeah,
it's a good way of getting into the mirrorless full frame for Nikon. Basically, that's what we're looking at with the
and also backup camera. So if you wanted to make sure you had a backup to your Z6 or Z7, I believe it will also do 4K as you'd expect nowadays.
Yeah, you would.
And obviously, it's got the image stabilization, which is mega. Now that mirrorless allows that to be much easier. So yeah, and then all of the other mirrorless perks that you have over DSLR in terms of being able to see your exposure straight away and in live time, so you're not chimping at the back, take your shot, have a look, sort of thing. Focus peaking, which is very, very useful. So that's another bonus to the Z5. And then what else did they? Oh yeah, they announced. So I mentioned the 2450, which is going to be great. Because it's going to be a very compact lens, which will make the Z5 a nice kind of walk around camera. And then for the wildlife people and the motorsport people and other sports, they brought out the Z 1.4 times and the 2 times teleconverter. So that's going to make life a lot easier, especially as they bring out more and more longer lenses for the Z series, which you would expect them to do in due course. So yeah.
Brilliant.
What else have people said?
It's just
have a look on the booking. It'll be good to see. I think Thursday or Friday is probably the best day at the moment. So yeah, and then David, why do cameras sound more like cars these days? Yeah, it sounds like we're talking about a BMW convertible for a midlife crisis, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's
when they start talking about cylinders, and you think, I don't think there's any cylinders in a camera, is there?
Yeah.
So
we're going to have to start doing like fancy intros soon, aren't we? And then like Top Gear.
Listen to the sound of that shutter. Be like Kai Wong on a Digital Red back in the day. Yes, and Sarah has commented as Cambrian Photography. There's a new reduced price on the M1X2. It's like 1899 or 1799.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah. So
whatever Sarah says the price is. Definitely not the price I say, because I have no idea. Life is too busy to keep up with all the prices. It's ridiculous. So gone are the days when it was just the price it was. No promos, just the price it was. Make life so much easier, wouldn't it?
Oh, it certainly would. But the promos are nice for our lovely customers as well, though, to make sure that
it does work really well for you guys.
But, yeah,
indeed.
A little bit more hard work for us, but as long as you get a deal.
Exactly. So, talking about binoculars earlier.
Yes.
quite excited about these bad boys.
Oh, you've got them as well. I wasn't too sure whether you'd actually whether you'd have them. So
Well, I
these
took them
are
out
the
the
new.
box yesterday, and
Yeah, but there's only a select amount that's supposed to be in the country as well. I think 200 was supposed to have come in. So these are the new Hawk Appos. Is that the full name for them? Yeah, Frontier Appos, is it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and what we're seeing within the Hawk Appos is that we're obviously seeing the apochromatic glass, which is where it gets the name Apo from. But they've also added a field flattener as well to them. So this means that you're going to be getting more light coming through the binocular because of the glass and also because of the flat field image. It's also going to give you more clarity from the center to the edge. So giving that sort of, when you're looking for stuff, the sharper you can get stuff closer to the edge, the better, because your eyes are going to notice it more, basically. And Hawk have given us this as well. So obviously, it is going to be their new sort of top of the range. So it's not going to be the cheapest binocular that they do. But for the price, I thought they were absolutely stunning for the price. They really, really were. So you've had a little play with them as well, haven't you, Joel?
Yeah, I thought the low light performance was really good, considering how much you're paying, which is not, well, 600 plus is a lot of money, but it's not massive when you compare it to people like Swarovski or Zeiss or whatnot. So it's just, I don't know, Hawk are giving you such great value for money. Their unlimited warranty makes it almost a no-brainer. And the chromatic aberration is almost non-existent, which makes it a pleasure. And it stops your eyes kind of getting tired looking through them for such a long time. And it makes the field of view better when you've got it flat, edge to edge, and it's sharp all the way through. So not having to wiggle around trying to get your subject right smack bang in the middle. And they're not like terribly heavy. Like these are 10s, so they're nice to hold. I didn't feel like they were wobbling all over the place. It'd be interesting to try 12s to see how much wobble they give. But I think most people will probably go for 8s, to be honest, because you get a much better field of view with the 8s. They're going to be a tiny bit brighter
to hold.
And especially for walking, they're not going to be quite as difficult to hold when you've walked for half an hour or an hour or whatnot. So I think people are going to have to come in and see, and then they're going to want to buy them, if I'm honest. If they're in the market for some new, very good quality binoculars. So.
And I think one of the underrated things that Hawk have within their range as well is the no fault warranty. So you like you said before, the unlimited warranty. So essentially what this gives you is so if your binoculars break on their own accord, generally you have a warranty that covers you, so you can just pop them back in and we can get them sorted for you. But with Hawk, what they've done is they've gone a step further. So what you find is that this no fault warranty, as they like to call it, and this essentially means that if anything happens to your pair of Hawk binoculars, they are covered. So if you accidentally drop them, it's something that is, your fault, but you send them back to Hawk and they will either repair or replace them for free for you. So it's a wonderful service. It took a while to actually sink in, and I remember asking our rep Mark about 4 or 5 times, like going, but what's the catch? He's like, no catch. No, it's fine. Anything that's wrong, just send them back. We'll either repair or replace them, which is absolutely phenomenal service.
It's one of those products that for us to sell is really easy, because you just know that people who buy them are going to have great binoculars, and if anything ever goes wrong, it's going to be fantastic. There's not going to be any quibbling or messing about. It just is what they say it is, which is confidence inspiring for us, because we like to make sure our customers are as happy as possible. And it's even nicer when in 5-10 years time, if something's not right with the binoculars they've bought, then we can just tell them to speak to Hawk, and Hawk will sort it out, because Hawk are ace. So that's why you should buy the Hawk ones, because they're just fantastic. So Graham, so many cameras, so little money. I feel like that's a T-shirt. Just needs to be a T-shirt, and
you got
then
a thing
at the
with
bottom,
T-shirts, Joel.
yeah, it should say, "So many cameras, so little money. Spend it all at Cambrian." So,
love it.
Sarah will be on going, yep. Were we going to carry on with binoculars? Because
we were going to do a little bit of binoculars because obviously we wanted to do a little homage to the optic show that we would normally in. So I think what we wanted to dig down a little bit into was the different types of binoculars that you can have, and also what they do, and try and decide whether there is a best binocular sort of on the market. Really. So
is this going to be as controversial as the best camera?
I don't know. Did it get really controversial? Yeah, it did.
I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. Although a few people told us we were wrong. I'm kind of missing David Yeoman because he was telling us we were wrong a lot, which was quite fun.
Yeah.
David, like all the gear and no idea. That'd be a great T-shirt as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, certainly would.
Oh dear. P for professional mode.
Within the binocular range, what we do see is that we have different magnifications, and we normally see another number on binoculars as well. So the first number that we normally see is a magnification. So this would be an 8 times or a 10 times, or 12 or 20 or 50, however crazy that you actually want to go.
Do you imagine a pair of 50 times?
I think we've got some around here somewhere.
They're enormous.
And
what
you see on the binoculars is another number as well, and this other number is essentially the size of the front diameter. This will determine how much light comes into the pair of binoculars, and also determines the physical size of them as well. So that I feel that's ultimately where the compromise sort of starts to begin. So if you have a small front element, you can have a small pair of binoculars, but there is a small amount of light gathering that comes into it. So I feel that...
Sorry, I just saw David Yeoman's comment, "You are always wrong."
Oh, yeah, there we go. I was wondering where he was.
He's still alive.
Yeah, hello, he's David. Still there. Hi, David. Good to hear from you.
Nice to know you're there to keep us in check.
Yes. So, do you have a preference on the type of binoculars that you like to use, Joel?
I like bright binoculars, so I tend to go for 42s. So either 8s or 10s. 10s are slightly not as bright, but I like the fact that you get that 25% extra magnification, which is quite useful, I think. And so. Yeah, I think 1042s are they're definitely the ones I own at the moment. I can see the benefit of 8s, and I know a lot of people go for 8s, and it makes a lot of sense. But I think 10s are mine. So, how about you?
I would go probably with an 8x32, just because
a bit more pocket size.
A little bit more pocket size, and it's just something that sort of goes alongside my gear rather than something that I would use sort of on a day-to-day basis. So obviously having something a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter does actually help. And the 8 magnifications, it's definitely a thing where with binoculars, it's something that I feel that you do have to try, because you look at 10s make more sense, 12s make more sense, because you're thinking the more magnification, the actual better. But I can see more. So if I'm trying to read something from a distance with a pair of binoculars, I can't see as much detail with a 10s than I can with 8s. Even though 8s are more further away, I can read information better, I can see information better, and I think that's because of the amount of movement that I'm possibly doing. So I'm probably a little bit more unstable than you are, Joel. So you're nice and calm and collected.
We're definitely talking.
I'm just a nervous mess. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, I get that. I think eights are great for most people, especially if you're doing any sort of exercise or walking and using them, because naturally, when you've been walking for a while, you shake a little bit more and your arms are probably a bit tireder. So holding up tens or twelves steady enough for any period of time gets quite difficult. And then you stop enjoying the use of them, it just tires you out, tires your eyes out, tires your arms out. So yeah, I can definitely understand why you go for 832s, because you get a good balance of light capturing and also quite a lot of zoom. 8 times is quite a lot, but also the fact you can shove it in your pocket almost if you've got big pockets, or in your rucksack, or on one of those peak capture clips. They're really good because they tend not to be obviously awesome. As heavy. So yeah, I can go with 832s. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, but 825s are Specsavers may help. Oh dear, yeah. You guys are coming out with some great one-liners today. I feel like all of these could be t-shirt ones, or on a mug.
We're going to get all of these printed on our new printer that prints on mugs. Yeah,
that's true. Need to do some of those. Maybe we'll have a range of them with all these different sayings on. But 825s also have their place because they're great if you genuinely only have a small amount of space to put them in, i.e. a pocket, or if you just want something small to keep in the glove box of the bar. Hashtag number 1 for Joel. Oh dear. Hashtag number 0 for Paul. Come on, David.
No, that's what we spoke about
last week. Make it happen. Make it happen. Any loves instead of likes, that'd be great, and we'll get a 0 all over for Paul. Oh dear. One other thing that I would definitely say about binoculars is if you can afford it, always try and go for ED over non-ED. I think the amount of people that come in and want to only spend maybe £100, maybe £200, and they think, oh, I really hashtag beard trimmers. David, you're terrible at distracting us. And I think people realise, especially when the bookshop was open across the road, and you ask somebody to look into the window, and with non-ED, you say, "Oh, can you read any of the book names?" And they're like, "No." You hand them some EDs, and they can read. And I think that helps people understand how good ED glass is, especially in the climate that we live in the UK, given that it's not always that sunny. So low light performance on a pair of binoculars are really, really important. So the more money you can spend, normally you get better light gathering performance, and ED helps with that for sure. And that's why 842s are quite good in the UK, because you get a much better exit pupil
a little
size.
bit more light. So. Yeah. And obviously, sometimes we struggle to actually see the difference in the shop, maybe because it's like a bright and sunny day, but where you will start to see ED and sort of apochromatic glass, which we mentioned with the Hawks before, is that twilight, that low light sort of level performance. So when you're testing sort of binoculars, if you're coming into the store and having a good look at some of the ranges that we do, you want to make sure that you're looking into a dark area, and that's a really good way of testing the quality of the glass that's inside the binoculars. That's really going to dig down into what the performance of the glass can actually do. So
it's only one of the ways of kind of obviously looking through. And if you can't see the difference, then you don't need to be paying any more money. I think that's the long and short of it. But obviously, also who makes them makes a big difference in terms of the glass quality. That's very important. What kind of prisms they use, and what coatings they use. These all make a big difference. And so that's why we suggest obviously coming into store to have a look, because we can go through them with you, and different brands have better binoculars at different price points. So if you have a very strict budget, then we can help you figure out where that best place is. But also quickly on binoculars, some binoculars just don't work for some people. some people's eyes just don't like certain binoculars, and that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine as well. So it's like a camera. You can choose the camera that everybody on YouTube says is the best one, but ultimately the best camera is the one that you actually can use and actually enjoy using. So it's the same with binoculars. You're going to have to use them every day. So you need to come into store and give them a try, and then you can find the best set for you. Quickly picking up on a few comments, and don't worry, you've not missed anything about Canon. We've got David Newton lined up for the 29th, which is Wednesday. So happy birthday for David Metcalf for them. Don't forget to sing him happy birthday, Paul. Otherwise, he'll be #0 for Paul. And Paul's definitely going bald by the end of the year. And so yeah, that's what you haven't missed, Dan. Don't worry. But it'll be great because David Newton is talking about the R5 with pet photography. So he'll go through a lot of hints and tips and the workflow he goes through to capture really great shots of his little doggy called Otis.
Yeah, we get to see Otis. So we did a print studio workshop with Dave a couple of weeks back, and we tried to get Otis on screen, and he was just sort of running off and doing sort of. He didn't want to be shown that day, but it's one of the reasons why we asked Dave back is because there was such high demand. We want to see Otis, so he's going to do some wonderful pet portraits with the new EOS R5. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
And #0 for Paul.
No, you can't also stop all this hashtagging for me.
And also picking up on another comment, ED. Yes, that was very remiss of us not to explain what that means. So ED means extra low dispersion. So that piece of glass that they put in helps bend the light back a bit more. In line with each other. So when it hits your eye, all the various colors are hitting your eye at the same time. So it reduces the chance of having that horrible green and magenta fringing that happens. It's especially frustrating around birds or wildlife in trees, especially where there's a lot of green going on and there's a lot of light behind as well. So you'll find it's much nicer to look at a bird or a tree or your subject through ED glass because it will help control the way the light behaves. It won't frustrate your eyes as much because you're like, what is that horrible fringing? And that's why manufacturers put ED and Apo glass in their lenses. So back in the day, it was quite a big thing when Sigma put Apo lenses in their lenses because it made a big difference. Oh dear, Apo lens glass in their lenses. Hopefully that explains what ED stands for. It's nothing else that might be an issue for people. So there we go.
That's it. Well, we've done very well this week, Joel. We've gone over our allotted time, which is very, very unusual for us. Any final thoughts for this weekend, Joel, before we wrap up?
I'm just very sad that we're not at Llynbrennig for the weekend, meeting all of our lovely customers out in the fresh air and showing them all lots of exciting gear, especially the long lenses, and seeing the ospreys fly around. So I just hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully the weather will be nice to everybody tomorrow so you can get out and about a bit, not too far, hopefully.
Get out and do some
everybody
watching.
Yeah, exactly. And if you find after the weekend that your binoculars are rubbish or you don't have any binoculars, you know what to do. And hopefully you'll know a bit more about them and we've not confused you about what all the numbers mean. So yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend and hopefully we'll see you next week.
That's brilliant. Well, yes. So it's not only next week that we're going to be going live. We are going live, as Joel said before, on Wednesday, the 29th of July. Yes, we are in July. With David Newton. He's going to be doing a pet studio setup for us with the new EOS R5. So we're looking forward to that on Wednesday. And as always, myself, Paul, I nearly forgot my name then, and my colleague Joel will be here this time next week to round up the week with you guys. So everyone have a really good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Oh, I forgot. Yes.
Come
do
on,
all those
Paul.
things that he said. No, that way. Do people do this, don't
Honestly.
they? Like,
yeah.
Like click whatever.
Yeah. So click the bell, the ding-a-ling icon thing, so it tells you, so you don't miss
it's more on his side.
Yeah.
Oh,
like it on Facebook. Give us a heart if you want Paul to shave his hair off.
No.
And and then you won't miss any of our wonderful videos where we try and persuade Paul to cut his hair, and also talk about gear and photography, etc.
Okay.
Oh dear. Yes, Trish. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. And Anne, no, you don't. It's completely free because we're nice like that. And Canon are super nice by sorting that out for us. So on YouTube and Facebook, completely free, open to anybody who has a computer or phone that will get the internet. And yeah, I can't remember what time it starts. Do you? I can't remember.
4 o'clock. Yeah, it's,
there we go. Paul knows.
You can find you can find the reminder on our Facebook page and YouTube as well. So make sure you hit that reminder, and you'll get a notification of when we go live. So, and we'll be easing into it as well. We're not just going to jump straight into it. So,
Paul, do you realise we've spent 2 or 3 minutes trying to end this video because you forgot to like, share, and subscribe? Yep. Shocking.
That's what happens when I forget things. Anyway, everyone have a very good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.